9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey everybody, welcome to Freethought in Florida. Freethought in Florida is a production of the Atheist community of Polk County. That's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. This is Friday, April 9th, 2021. I am Sarah Ray, and with me tonight is Allie Ashmead. Before we get too far down the road, we want to thank a wonderful group of people who help make this show possible, and now those are our patrons. You can be just like them and make a monthly pledge to support the show at patreon.com/polkatheists. So head over there, make a contribution if you can. And of course, you can also support the show by rating and reviewing and giving us all the stars anywhere you can give us stars, like Apple or Google Podcasts and so forth and so on. You share the episodes, like, subscribe, all of that fancy stuff, and get it help us grow the show. Allie, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
It's Friday. I'm hanging in there. I go back to work tomorrow night, back to like the normal grind. I've been on vacation all week. And if by vacation you mean like I spent days painting our bedroom. Yeah. I almost
in the house.
I almost have the laundry done. So like nobody put on any more clothes. It's almost all done. Don't dirty up anything else. My parents left to go back home to Illinois. They were here for like 3 months. So they went back home. Yeah, it's been a week. How about you? What's going on with you?
Not much. Working, which is, sitting at a desk all day, looking at a screen.
Right.
Nothing much. Oh, I got my shot yesterday.
Yay!
That was, how could I forget? That was important.
Especially after the debacle that was the first attempt. Right.
And now I can now move my arm again. It did get a little bit stiff.
For anyone who hasn't had the vaccine yet, let me highly suggest not your masturbation arm. Just a word to the wise. Don't although maybe
the arm that you don't use.
Maybe you should, because like the lady told me, she was like, now don't baby it. Like it's going to hurt, but you got to keep using it because then it'll hurt less. And I was like, okay.
Rubbing it worked, and just, moving it, that seemed to work. But no major side effects. Like I felt really tired, but otherwise nothing crazy. But I expect I should be picking up some signals from outer space soon, maybe growing an extra appendage. I don't know.
Well, I thought the first shot was just installing the chip, and then the second shot is when they activate it.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's what I've heard.
So I'll let you know in about 4 weeks or 3 weeks.
When you go back in for the second shot, if you hear the Windows startup music, then you should be worried.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing a Wing It show tonight, so we would absolutely love to hear from you if you're out there watching in TV land and want to join the conversation. You can call 253-900-2272, 253-900-2272, and we'd love to chat with you and hear your thoughts about whatever is going on in the state of Florida right now. We have some topics that we're going to talk about, but if you've got anything on your mind, give us a call and we'll chat about that.
I'm kind of nervous about winging it.
Okay. So I got to tell you, it's really funny because you're not the only one in the team that has that concern of like, but I need some structure and I need notes and I need to know like what's going to happen. You're not the only one, so don't like. First of all, don't feel like you're.
I could talk about random stuff all the time. It just may not be about Florida.
Well, I won't go down the rabbit hole of like what the scope of the show is. Well, maybe I will a little bit, because we do certainly talk about things that are like national and international, while they are not directly Florida related. there is a connection there. Yeah. So, something that if it's going on nationally that we need to be aware of here, or that's of general interest to the public, that sort of thing. I want to start with something that's not on our Wing It list at all, which is just sort of a follow-up from the bills that we had been watching, the Parents' Bill of Rights and the Moment of Silence in public schools. They're both charging ahead as expected, getting all the votes in the committees and the everything, no surprise. But there was at the the Senate Education and Employment Committee was hearing, oh God, which one was it? Devin, help me. One of them.
Help me.
they derailed the whole, the meeting derailed. It was the Rules Committee. Sorry, that's what it was. They derailed into this, nobody knows what to do right now because it's a Senate committee and we're hearing a House bill. Why are we hearing the House bill when there's a perfectly, almost exactly identical, close Senate bill that is before this committee? Why are we taking up a House bill? And so that spun around for about 20 minutes, and they just the gears just grinded on that. And then there was a whole issue about one of the senators voted in favor but didn't mean to, and so he thought he was voting on the bill itself. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was nuts. And again, I've forgotten who all the players are at this point, but yeah, it was really fucking entertaining. So then there was a motion made to redo the vote on the amendment because I thought we were voting on the bill and not the amendment, and I meant to vote the other way. And so then we had this whole parliamentary breakdown of okay, well, is that even a thing that we'll consider? And then they decided, okay, finally, yes, we'll go back and redo that vote because initially amendments are done on a voice vote, right? So we're looking at this bill and this amendment would change X to Y. Here's, do we have any questions on the bill? No. Do we have any members of the public that are going to speak? No. Okay, let's talk about it in debate. Does anybody have anything to say in debate? And then, okay, let's take a vote on this amendment. All in favor say yay, all opposed say nay, right? Whereas when we do a vote on a bill in committee, it is Representative Ray, and I say yes. Representative Ashmead, Representative Graham, and we go down the list, and what the hell's that called? Yeah.
I don't know. Hell if I know.
So roll call vote. That's what it is. A roll call vote. So it's weird that he thought we were doing the bill when we had not done a roll call vote, but we had done a voice vote. So that was a little kind of stretched. Okay, you want to redo? Okay. So then they voted, yes, we can redo the vote on the amendment. Yeah. And then the amendment failed that time, or I don't know, whichever way it was. It failed the first time and passed the second time. And then they went to vote on the bill itself and went all the way around the room, and the bill passed. And then Senator Farmer, God, what zone is? Where is he from? Said, I want to make a motion to reconsider the vote on the bill.
Okay.
So we all just voted, and now let's reconsider that. So then parliamentary breakdown again as they got together and scratched their heads about, well, how do we handle it's the Rules Committee, for fuck's sake, and they didn't even know
the
rules, which I thought was fucking fantastic.
Yay, Florida.
Yes. They also they considered the trans sports ban, and I think I may have said this last week, but like don't watch that video. Like self-care is not watching these angry bigoted people get up and talk about like misgendering people, on like purposefully misgendering people. The guy from the Christian Family Coalition was like, his number one example of why we shouldn't let trans women, into sports is Fallon Fox, of all people, MMA fighter Fallon Fox, full grown ass adult Fallon Fox, not like middle school, basketball player or whatever, like, and each time specifically, said like man pretending to be a woman or whatever. It was just awful. Don't watch it.
So where is that bill? Is it in the House? Well, obviously it's probably passed the House, and
I'm not sure. Look it up.
I'm just curious because I mean it'll probably pass just because of the bigots here.
Oh, it'll definitely. Yeah. Oh, I have no reason to think that it won't pass. I did have, I will add, one of the local journalists from the local paper reached out to say like, hey, we're doing a story on this coming up, and we're looking for trans students, to maybe talk to for the story. Mm-hmm. Do you know anybody? And so I know a couple that I passed the information along to. So hopefully, like the voice of the student will at least be able to be included in the conversation, sure. Because they are, some of them for sure, showing up at the House and Senate to plead their case, but not many. I mean, school's in session, and I'll bitch about this again, and I know everybody's probably tired of hearing about it, but we've got to fix this.
Bitch away.
You got to go to Tallahassee if you want to speak before a committee.
Yeah. And
because of COVID, the floor isn't open. You can't like go into the committee room like you normally would to speak. You have to go to the convention center or whatever it is, the civic center, and be on like remote camera connect to the Capitol to speak via this remote connection. And I'm just like, it's 2021, y'all. My kids have done school from Zoom for a whole damn year. In fact, when this whole thing went down in Lake Wales, when I gave secular invocation there, and the torches and pitchforks came out for me, that was like in the midst of COVID. So they were limiting capacity. They had seats like taped off, that you had to sit apart from each other. And we're talking like small backwoods hillfolk town kind of place, right?
Still tech savvy.
And yet they have where you can go online and watch the meeting live and join as a participant if you want to speak on something that they're considering. Little old small town Florida figured it out.
Why would they want to make it easy for you to voice your opinion?
Exactly. Yeah, they don't want you to have a voice. That's the point. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So let's see. The House 1475 is in committee. That is the sex-specific student athletic teams. But there were like 2 or 3 different incarnations of this, depending on which one you're in and which house you're looking at. Youth, gender, and sexual identity might be one of the other ones. Oh, that's for medical care. So that one would ban. How does it read?
I think was it Arkansas that passed a similar bill recently where it prohibited doctors from providing health care to trans.
Right.
I don't know if
I
it was trans youth or just trans people in general.
I think you're right. I think it's youth, because it's this one provides an exception for intramural athletics and high school athletic teams. Provides criminal penalties for healthcare practitioners who perform or cause specified practices to be performed on a minor under certain conditions. Provides applicability. Yeah, they're just awful. That's House 935 that's in committee. Yeah, there's just and the thing about this that just that makes me, that really is frustrating to me, is that this stuff has not been at the state level. We haven't been having this argument.
Yeah.
They put it on the shelf for a few years, right? And now it was time to drag it back out. And whether that's because they lost the White House, like the conservatives lost the White House, and
Absolutely.
then this thing in Georgia happened, and then so it's like, oh, we got to drag out the fear box again, like scary trans people. Blah, 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 blah.
Targeting, yeah, it's all fear mongering. They're targeting minorities and targeting anyone that's other than them, because most conservatives are not trans or LGBTQ,
right.
or people of color. So it's almost like, well, we lost the like you said, well, we lost the White House. How else can we screw up their lives?
And how can we rile up the base? Like,
right.
How can we get people angry enough to come, stay engaged?
Look what we did and to vote for them next time around.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, look what we did. We did this for you,
The hypocrisy of it all is a frustrating point for me, in that, why is it not obvious to everyone? The Parents' Bill of Rights, for example, says in their own words that parents own their children, not the state. I mean, they use that language, Allie, like it's disgusting, because I don't think about my kids as property, and I don't think of myself as their owner.
You are a guardian.
Yeah.
Not you can't own a human.
Right.
And
right.
I personally don't like that language.
Right. It just reads as wrong for a lot of reasons. But so this bill says, like, parents should have 100% free reign control over the lives of their children, not the state. Unless, if you are a supportive parent and you want your trans kid to have like puberty blockers so that they don't start male puberty and, develop whatever the things they're arguing are, muscle mass and bone density and blah, 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 blah. Okay, if I've got a trans daughter and I want them to take testosterone blockers before puberty happens, well, no, you can't do that. We're going to pass some laws that say you can't do that. But over here, you said that I, as the parent, should have 100% free authority over my children. Which the fuck is it?
Yeah. Good point.
Makes me so mad.
Hopefully they get sued.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it'll do any good. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering, a lot of this stuff that's flowing through now, will be challenged on a number of bases. But also I worry about how the courts have been altered over the past decades, all the way up, right? All the way to the top.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the specifics about what's been happening on some of those bills that we've been watching. I'm sure we'll have Devin back soon for more. The session ends, it's like we're coming up on the end of this thing, aren't we?
I have no idea.
That's another thing that like just sort of boggles my mind. Is how, like, this is a 60-day like sprint.
Just get as many bills through as possible.
Yeah. Convenes March 2nd and adjourns April 30th. And it's just show up and shove through as much as you can. As quickly as you can.
It's depressing.
I don't know how, like, I don't know. I'm not suggesting that we have lawmakers in Tallahassee, 6 months out of a year or whatever, but 60 days seems like not a lot of time to do the business of lawmaking.
And definitely not hear opposing arguments, for sure.
Though that's another frustrating thing that we talk about often is, like, when you go into these committees, you can look at 99% of the times at the letter behind their name and know which way they're going to vote.
Yeah, and you're walking into it's a lost cause, but you got to try. You know.
Right. And they knew walking in which way they intend on voting. And so then you start thinking, like, okay, well, what is the purpose of public comment? And, like, obviously it's to help raise public awareness, because that, the news media will pick up some of that stuff if it's, good and run it and try to, like, educate the public on the opposite side of an issue. So, like, there's benefit in doing it. It's just frustrating that, that it doesn't have an immediate impact, I guess. Another thing that's been going on is this wastewater reservoir thing. Have you been following that?
Yes, even though it's nowhere near me, but yeah.
It's not an hour and a half down the road from us.
Yeah, Manatee County,
out in the Tampa Bay area. I haven't been watching it, like, super close, but what I know of it is there's contaminated water that's leaking out. The wall is broken down or whatever, and is leaking through, and so now they're talking about, like, just pump it out into the bay, because
it's a phosphate plant, first of all, and it has the water contains, I think it's uranium for one.
Oh. And
something else, I think phosphates, which is something else. So bad.
Right.
So yeah, while they won't immediately, so if they're pumping it out into the bay, sure, they won't immediately kill you, but they'll just poison the fish that you eat or the seafood that you eat.
Right. And
then kill you slowly.
Like, we don't pump enough crap out into the oceans to start with. Like,
right.
Apparently this is a broader problem too. There was an article in the Florida Phoenix that I was looking at that talks about how, like, there are other places around Florida that are facing the same or similar problems.
Oh, Florida. Wow.
Yeah. What is this place called? Piney Point?
Yeah, this particular one is Piney something.
The current owner of Piney Point, HRK Holdings, which has been in and out of bankruptcy, great, notified county officials months ago that it was in trouble again and headed for calamity. But as has been true throughout Piney Point's history, the people in charge failed to take action in time. So Manatee County officials ordered more than 300 families living nearby to evacuate. And the sheriff even emptied out his jail's first floor of inmates in case a 20-foot wave of nastiness came rolling their way. What?
Full of uranium, and it will kill you. The stuff will kill you.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Meanwhile, work crews pumped out the polluted water from the top of the gyp stack out as fast as they could to relieve pressure on the stack, trying to prevent a collapse. As of Monday, they had 300 million gallons left to deal with. I haven't seen an update since then. Awesome.
So, yeah.
You know, this makes me think of, like, the people who are, you know, against regulation, right? Government regulation is bad.
Yeah.
sometimes it's actually like we need to have some regulation on business to keep them from, because again, you get to be like megala corporation status. You don't care about nothing but making more money. And that is the design of the business. Its goal is to make more money, and you can couch it in all kinds of stuff. I worked for Disney for almost 10 years, and it's interesting to sort of consider, what the company, what the brand was when it was just two dudes in a dream. Right? Mm-hmm. When like Walt had this big dream and Roy was just running around to the banks begging for money, and it was his dream, it was his baby. And then when it becomes not that, when it becomes a company and it's not, the dream anymore, then it becomes about other things. And sure, Walt wanted to make money. Let's not be crazy. But it just changes. It's just different. And so, so you got to have some kind of limits and restrictions on what these people can do, especially when it's something like this that has such a high impact on the health and safety of people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what the plant, what service, or I don't even know what the purpose of the plant does. But if you're killing everyone around you, how are you going to make money? It's just rotten and evil. I mean,
yeah. So this is a fertilizer plant. Phosphogypsum stack, 676 acre fertilizer plant. So that's what it is. They create fertilizer. And somehow
I just don't understand how the uranium comes into that.
Radioactive waste is left from turning phosphate into fertilizer.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe there's a better way to make. I don't know. I'm not a fertilizer maker, but maybe there's there's another way. Like
whatever happened to good old compost?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yes, exactly. So I remember seeing like when this first dropped, it was like serious, like evacuate the area. This thing could just go at any minute. Yeah. And flood out and cause all kinds of problems. But then this like, well, just pump it out into the bay. Okay, where else are you going to put it? I don't know.
I know. We're going to run out of places to put our toxic waste.
Yes. So to put any of our waste. The fact that we do landfills at all is like nuts. Like, and what else are you going to do with it? Okay, you burn it, it fucks up the ozone layer. You do,
send it into space. That takes, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, okay, I get it, but there's got to be something.
There's already islands of waste out in the oceans, and and then we're only recycling 9% of the, like when you throw your plastic into the recycle bin, only 9% of that is actually able to be recycled.
Right.
So what happens to the rest of it? We are just making waste faster than we can get rid of it. And
down here, there's our county recycling program limits, very strict like limits of what you can put in, and glass is not allowed. And we all made that face that you just made. What do you mean glass is not? You can't put glass in the recycle bin. And so a lot of people have asked over the years, and the answer is it's cheaper. We can just there's sand for days. We can just go get more sand and make more glass. And it's cheaper than taking the old glass and trying to reuse it, and then it's not as strong as the original.
Come on.
What?
We have scientists. We can figure out a way to be able to reuse the glass and make it as strong. We have to come up with this.
Right. There's got to be something.
We think this earth is just an endless pool of resources. Someday we're going to run out of sand. We're going to run out of oil. We're drilling for oil.
Yep.
we're going to run out of resources, and we're going to end up cutting down all the trees.
Yep.
I mean,
a lot of it is cultural, social stuff. Like we're just I want to say we're lazy, but like this is just what we're used to. And changing in the same way that like, okay, well, I'll eat healthier is a life overhaul. That is not an easy thing to do.
It's very inconvenient.
And we just don't do it. Yeah. That's the word. That's the word.
It's very inconvenient.
Yeah.
Just because, like you said, we're used to it. Like the food.
Like studies have shown, like unless you if you offer a recycling program for free, people will use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you ask people to recycle, they won't. You have to make it easy for them. You have to put the bin in their house so that they can dump the crap into the bin so that you can come pick it up. That's just how it has to be, because we're not going to go out of our way to like sort our recyclables and then put those in the minivan and drive to some facility to drop them off. We just won't do it.
Yeah. Don't they make you pay now? I mean, I have to pay. I have to pay a fee to recycle, so I might as well recycle. I mean, I'm going to recycle anyway, but that forces people who wouldn't normally recycle to recycle. They're going to pay for it. It's in your taxes, man.
Yep.
Pay for it. You got to do it.
Yeah, right. But I think that's true of, a lot of things when it comes to like the environment, choosing sustainable things. Those products are often a lot more expensive, just like the healthier food options are more expensive, which is crazy.
Maybe up front, but in the long run.
Right.
We're never thinking, we're always about instant gratification. We're never thinking about the long run. So healthy food, expensive now, but less health bills later.
Yeah.
Recycle now, you still have an earth later on. So
it makes there's a couple of other interesting considerations maybe to think about. The idea that like, that isn't going to happen in my lifetime, so what do I care?
Yeah.
Then
the next generation says the same thing, and the next, and the next.
Until it's a serious problem that we can't solve because we've pushed and gone too far. It's Wall-E. We have to shoot ourselves up in a luxury ship.
I was thinking about the Matrix. The apocalypse. Pretty soon, we'll all be hooked up. We're going to become the batteries, and then there will be nothing left but the machines.
Yeah.
And we will be living a life that's only simulation because there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about all those movies, those apocalyptic movies, and I'm like, they have it right. We are destroying the earth. And
what about the idea of there is a strain of Christianity that's like dominionist, sort of God gave us dominion over the world, and he promised not to flood it again. Like we can't fuck it up worse than God can fix it sort of mentality. I don't know if you've encountered those people, but that's
oh God, no.
That's
I hope not.
that is certainly at least some small sect of Christianity that that just believes, hey, God put this here for us to use. Let's use it.
So
they dig up all the oil.
So they think that it's endless, and that's
Or when it ends, God will provide.
Well, keep on believing that, but let me know how that works out for you, because you're killing us all.
Right.
That's a very egotistical interpretation of, and obviously it is an interpretation that's driven by someone's ego,
Yep.
As is all of them. Just saying.
Yeah. So take care of the planet, damn it. We're doing we're part of the Great American Cleanup is one of our things that we're doing tomorrow morning in Winter Haven. If you're around and you want to come help us clean up around Lake Elbert, I think it's called.
Winter Haven on the other side of, is that on the other side of Orlando? Or, well, my other side or your side?
It's it's down in our neck of the woods. You might be thinking of Winter Garden or Winter Park, which are both like northwest Orlando-ish, I think. There's lots of winter. Winter Haven is where Legoland, Florida is. It's the home of Old Cypress Gardens, which was a park back in the day that was like literally just the gardens. They do a ski show, and they've done a ski show since like the beginning. And now the ski show is Lego themed.
Cool.
We love Legoland. Legoland's a lot of fun.
Never been. I'm missing out.
Like I think they have the Florida's oldest wooden roller coaster. Is there?
I hate those things. So like yeah.
Oh, it's like yeah, it's not smooth. It's terrible. And they're expanding too. They're putting a Peppa Pig park in. Peppa Pig.
Okay, I know Peppa Pig.
Yeah, my 5-year-old's
cool.
big into Peppa Pig.
That's awesome.
So that'll be fun. Anyway, I was gonna look something up and then I forgot. But we're doing a cleanup in the morning. It'll come out. It's part of the Great American Cleanup, which is a nationwide thing that we try to get. They try to get lots of groups engaged in. Doing different activities that help clean up the world around you. And it's one of those things that I feel some type of way about, because we're gonna pick the litter up and put it in a bag and it goes to a landfill or whatever. Like where the end result is still not what I'd like it to be. Great, we got it off the road. It's
it's all in one place.
It's beautifying the neighborhood, which is sort of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of contributes to the problem.
What do you do though, as
a
citizen, as a part of the community? What else can you do?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We dump it on a pile and then dump some dirt on top of it. That's what we do.
Yeah. And only the biodegradable stuff will disappear, but then all the plastic and glass.
Someone will surely write us, but aren't those designed in some way to break it down faster than it would if it had just been left in its environment or whatever?
Yeah,
I believe
it is. It's kind of like a big ass compost pile,
right?
If you were composting at home. But yeah, because if you've ever lived near a landfill, you can smell it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Will it break down the? It won't break down the plastic though.
No, that ends up in the ocean. Let's see what else is going on this week. The George Floyd murder trial is happening. You said you've been watching this, and bless your heart, because no, you haven't.
Well, I have bits and pieces. I can't. I cannot I can't do it.
No, I was gonna say. Speaking of self-care means don't watch this thing.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I'm just thinking about it today, and I watched the portion of it that was particularly hard to watch today, where they talked about, they had the medical experts come in, and they were talking about they had a forensic pathologist, and they had the exhibits of the autopsy and the pictures, and very graphic stuff, and very difficult to watch, but all to basically come to the conclusion or build a case that he would not have died if Chauvin's knee was not on his neck.
Right.
Because I think the defense's stance is that, he was on meth, he had and his heart was enlarged and high blood pressure, and their defense is that he would have died anyway, and that is not the opinion of the pathologist. So
right. And I get that this is it's a thing they have to go through, right? This dude has every right to a fair trial as everybody else in the country. I get all of that. I don't know how the fuck you find an impartial jury. Don't know how you do that.
I was gonna say, why are we still using jurors? Because everyone knows, everyone saw it. I mean, you had to
Yeah.
be living under a rock
Yeah.
to not have some kind of opinion on it. It's been a
Right.
year. It's been a year.
Yeah.
And like, how can we trust jurors to?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Why are we still using jurors?
That's a great question for a lawyer.
I know.
I will put that one to a lawyer, in
But I
fact,
mean,
and see, like, is there, like, I don't know. There's got to be a good explanation for why. I mean, otherwise it's what, up to a judge or a panel of judges, and okay, they have maybe more training in the law than a jury, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Random people off the street. I mean, I know they do go through a jury selection process and everything,
Right.
but you are still looking at everyday people.
Yeah.
And you don't
They just turn me away because I walk in my atheist shirt with my rainbow pin and my BLM pin and my.
You know what?
And they're like, "Thank you, ma'am."
If I was ever chosen or selected, I would definitely do the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get all of me.
Yep.
This is who I am.
You should also know I am 100% against the death penalty in every case.
Yeah.
And that you're excused. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a conversation we can get into in a minute. But yeah, like the medical expert. So they're trying to argue like, oh, but he was a druggie. He was on drugs, so that could have been. And the doctors were like, nope.
No.
That's definitely not like.
No.
Could have been a contributor, but still.
He still
without
died
without that knee on the neck for that length of time.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have died from it.
Yep. And they were very graphic, and they went through the whole thing, all the pathology, and it was really interesting. But it was kind of like, I like to watch those type of shows, but it's fine because it's a show.
Yeah, this is real.
Real.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more disturbing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I have been sort of in La La Land this week. I just realized I was supposed to vote on some stuff for one of the boards that I'm on, and I completely lost track of everything this week. So I haven't. Yeah, but I didn't tell anybody I was on vacation. Anyway, so like I watched some of the Florida stuff only because it's boring and I can put it on the iPad and just let it play while I'm up painting, and which is what I did all week. But this I purposefully avoided. Like I don't want to see it again.
Yeah, I'm trying not to.
We all watched this man die on TV, like on this cell phone video. We watched this happen. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I can't.
I feel like we don't. Yeah. I feel like he's on trial now. Like, and I think that's a sentiment across all social media, is that George Floyd is the one on trial. Blaming him for his own death, trying to blame like
right. The drugs and the whatever. Right. Yeah.
So what?
Yep.
So who cares if he did drugs? I don't even care what he did. No one deserved that.
The part that I did hear about that I liked is like, wasn't it the police chief and several other officers have testified like
against him?
None of that is within our whatchamacallit.
It's not
tactics.
In their procedure tactics.
Yeah, procedures.
That's
not a thing he should have been doing.
Knee on your neck is not part of their
Yep.
No, that's not something they teach.
And the chief that was even talking about, like, regardless of the drugs and the whatever, like whatever, we still have a duty to the health and welfare of these individuals. Even if I'm arresting a perp, like I still have a responsibility to their life.
Absolutely.
Because
no matter how much you hate them.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. But he didn't even do anything that bad.
Right.
He didn't go and shoot up anyone, Yeah.
Yeah. If he had been arrested and not killed, then the right that was taken from him was the right to an impartial trial, to have his alleged crimes vetted in the legal system. Like
Right.
all of that was taken from him by this dude who very calmly, with his sunglasses on his head and his hands in his pockets,
Just look,
killed him.
And of course, George Floyd was handcuffed.
Mm-hmm.
He was not going to go
on the ground. He wasn't going anywhere.
He was not going anywhere.
Nope.
My fear, though, is, what if America fails us?
Yeah.
The streets are going to go bonkers.
Yeah. I am. Yeah.
If we
it's going to be a
right,
fucking riot if he's let off.
Every city.
Yeah.
Every state. I would hope we would I mean, I think most people would peacefully protest, but
I think so too. Well, and I think the past round of BLM action shows this is what the intention really is.
Yeah. But there's just
it's going to be bad.
We already went through several months of that peaceful protesting, and then there were people pretending to be part of the BLM movement,
right,
who were purposely causing violence, and it's hard. You can't distinguish who anybody is when you're out on the street.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's easy for them to infiltrate and do those things in the name of BLM and make it look like BLM.
Right.
And I hate that. But,
yep.
But we don't. But that is, what else can people do? What else can we do to let our voice be known?
Yeah, there is a lot of emotion wrapped up in this, in the entire nation.
Absolutely,
there's a lot of emotion wrapped up in this, and yeah, if this guy gets off scot-free, it's not going to be pretty.
No, at all.
Well, speaking of protests, great segue.
That fucking bill. That fucking bill. Well, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
So, of course, Florida, our wonderful governor, launched into this. His number one priority was this anti-protest bill, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Have you been watching? I guess that was heard today on the floor in committee, something. I don't know, but I haven't. Again, I've been on vacation. I haven't been watching what's been happening with it.
I think it went through it's going to the Senate. It's past the House. And it's about to go to the Senate.
And it'll go right through the Senate.
Probably.
Betcha.
But it was approved by the Florida House. But I mean, I think we should have definitely some structure and some laws around protests that do get out of hand. But I think the Black lawmakers' issue was that it was going to, first of all, possibly Black protesters and white protesters would be treated differently, and then that would something about how we all have the right to, what is it called, civil disobedience or something like that,
right?
And that would interfere with that right. So I have not read that whole bill yet, but it's. I think a lot of it is you're going to get prosecuted or fined, jail time if you are part of a group of one or more people or 1 or 7 people. I don't know. And you're protesting, and protesting, and you do damage to businesses or homes, etc., like that. Just some really harsh punishments for people.
Yeah, criminal offenses and increased penalties for those who target law enforcement and participate in violent or disorderly assemblies. So that's one of those things like
the thing is the disorderly assemblies or the violence is often, I mean, I'm not an expert, but from what I see, like on the videos and stuff, it's a lot of times instigated by the police.
Right. No, it's definitely instigated and escalated, and we saw that all whenever the hell that was.
Year.
Yeah, last year. I don't know. Time has no meaning anymore.
I know.
So the thing about this that like one of the things that concerned me or worried me is like, so after all of the fucking school shootings happened, when Parkland happened and March for Our Lives really started like taking off, there was a local March for Our Lives rally. Now, Polk County is a more guns than teeth kind of place. I stole that joke from Devin.
That's a great way to put it. I think that's all of Florida. Okay, come on.
Yeah. Devin Siebold's joke, not mine. I'll give him proper credit. More guns than teeth. And so you just don't know what you're going to get when you go to a thing like that around here. We also went to a couple of different Black Lives Matters protests when that was all in the middle of its heat. And again, like this place, you just don't know what it's going to be like. And so I went with every intention to march and scream and wave my shitty placard around and just be a part of it. And try to like make some noise and raise awareness and do all of those things peacefully. Yep. But if something breaks out and I'm there,
this gonna look like you're part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to the one in Jacksonville, and it was organized, it was peaceful, but there were cops all around us. And then what really disturbed me was there was a tall building, probably like maybe 10-story building near us, and there were police on the roof looking down at us, like sharpshooters. That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I didn't feel safe from them, although everyone was peaceful, but just their presence and it scared me. Yeah. Seeing like sharpshooters on the roof.
Right. Come on. Right. It's and depending on the color of your skin, it's either something that will make you feel safer because they're there, or something that will make you feel highly unsafe because you're there. Right. They're there.
I felt highly unsafe.
Yeah. That stuff makes me feel like creepy too. That whole like militarization of the police and all of that stuff. I'm a pacifist. I'm not into that shit.
Yep.
So here's the basics. Prohibition on violent or disorderly assemblies would be a third-degree felony when 7 or more persons are involved in an assembly and cause damage to property or injury to other persons. A prohibition on obstructing roadways. This was one of their big ones because we were out like blocking streets to, gum up traffic to get attention to the issue.
Yeah.
Third-degree felony to obstruct traffic during an unpermitted protest, demonstration, or violent or disorderly assembly. Driver is not liable for injury or death caused if fleeing for safety from a mob.
A driver?
A driver would not be liable for injury or death caused if they were fleeing for their safety from this angry group of people blocking the roadway.
So basically, if someone could have a car and drive through a bunch of people and say they were fleeing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's okay. I got a problem with that.
That reads to me like that police line of like, oh, I was afraid for my safety. Pop, 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 pop. Like,
right.
They're coming right for us. sort of get out of jail free card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Prohibition on destroying or toppling monuments. So we've
gotta keep their Confederate
gotta
monuments in
save
place.
the loser monuments. Second degree felony to destroy public property during a violent or disorderly assembly. Okay, now if we're gonna say it's public property versus toppling monuments, that's a little different. Like, okay, let's protect public property. I'm okay with that. But it's not written that way. Prohibition.
It specifically says toppling monuments.
Yeah, in bold print. Prohibition on harassment in public accommodations. First degree misdemeanor for a participant in a violent or disorderly assembly to harass or intimidate a person at a public accommodation, such as a restaurant. So that's the one where, like, Ted Cruz is having dinner and you're part of a disorderly assembly or whatever, and you go in and yell at him. I guess. I don't know. Well, that wasn't Ted Cruz, was it? Who was it? It was one of
no,
those.
it wasn't Ted
Rubio.
Cruz.
Was it Marco?
Yeah, I think it was
Marco.
Rubio or
I don't know.
somebody. But I think people yelled at Ted Cruz in the airport. But yeah.
Yeah, on his way to Cancun. Let's see. RICO liability, increased penalties, mandatory minimum jail sentence, offense enhancements, citizens and taxpayer protection measures. No defund the police permitted. Prohibits state grants or aid to any local governments that slash the budget for law enforcement services.
Yeah. So that's going to keep local law enforcement from actually trying to
right.
Rectify the issue with police. Defund police. I'm pretty sure that they didn't really mean defund. That was restructure.
Yeah. That was probably one of the worst marketing choices we made. Like, really.
Don't say that. That's not really what we mean.
Right. What we mean is, let's maybe, and hear me, Sheriff Grady Judd, maybe you don't need tanks. Maybe what you need is, like, mental health professionals to, like, respond to shit with you so that you don't come up on someone who is, in a mental break and try to handle it with handcuffs and guns. Right. No, when you need to have, like, a softer approach, y'all aren't trained for that.
Oh, and maybe
also, bring someone who is.
Yeah, and also let's spend money or redirect some funds to actually get these people properly trained. If we're giving them a gun and a badge, they need to be trained properly. They need to go through a psych eval first to see if they even get a gun and a badge. But good grief.
Yeah, I had a guy that I worked with for a while who went into county sheriff's department, and he was telling me about, like, all of the different things that he had to go through to get in, and it was, there were psych evals, there were, like, lie detector sort of things, and like that he had to do. In the end of the day, it was, like, easy stuff, but still. Victim compensation, government employment benefits, bail. Yeah. So there was an article, and please, if anybody's watching, I don't know, I'm trying to watch all the chats at once, but if you're watching and you want to call and talk to us, 253-900-2272. I saw an article about, like, some unintended consequences that y'all might not have thought about. Now, down here in Lakeland, down the road, is a women's health clinic, and the only clinic in the county, I believe, that performs abortion services. And on any given day, there's angry Christians out front with some nasty signs and screaming at these people who are going in for medical services. 99 out of 100 of them aren't abortions, and you wouldn't be able to tell if the person was going in for an abortion or a pap smear. Like, you can't. Right. Like, but if you're walking into this building, well, you obviously must be part of the abortion cabal or whatever, and so we're just going to scream and throw dirty looks at you. And it's really bad to the point where we are connected with, there's a team of people that do the escort program at this clinic, because and a team of you, like, come out with umbrellas to, like, protect the
Shield them.
privacy of the,
Right.
you just have to do it because these people are nasty. Now,
So
how
do
does
they?
that play?
Yeah. So did they? So the people that are protesting in front of the abortion clinic, do they have a permit? Do they? I mean, are they able to just gather?
That's a great question that I don't know the answer to. My assumption
I'm
would
just.
be because I know law enforcement has been like notified. I know that the local media has covered it quite a bit. In fact, there was a recent article about it again too. So it seems to me like if they were doing it in a way that was not on the up and up, that would
Mhm.
have been taken care of by this point.
Yeah.
Or stopped, right? Put a stop to it. So either they, maybe it's they're across the street. I don't know. I don't know all the physics of it, but I'm not on the clinic's property. I'm on,
Yeah.
private property next door, and their private property owner is fine with it. Or I'm on the
Mhm.
sidewalk and it's public property, and so I don't know.
Loopholes.
But
Yeah.
those are good questions that I really want to know the answer to. Like, do you have a permit? That'd be a great thing. But the clinic doesn't want, they don't want added scrutiny or visibility on the whole thing. Like they just want, just let
They
them
just want
stand.
to do what they do, and
Yeah,
be left alone.
don't call the police. Don't go to the media. Just let these people be assholes, and we're gonna do our medical care, and like it's fine. Like it's fine because there's a lot of us that would gladly go and counter protest,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there's a
Okay.
coalition of queer organizations, and the atheist communities would certainly show up and be a part of that. Because again, and this is another circumstance of religion forcing its morality onto everybody else.
Yep.
So when equality is under attack, atheists show up. We would
That's
be
right.
there, but
Yeah.
the clinic doesn't want us there. So
Yeah.
that's
They
why
don't need
that's
the
why we
press.
don't do it. Yeah. They don't want to make it any bigger than it is. But it's interesting to me. Like, okay, so now how does all of that play into this anti-protest stuff that we're looking at now? What if one of them gets out of hand, or
Yeah.
whatever?
Well, that's an interesting question, and that's what
Mhm.
some of the black lawmakers were wondering. Because if it wasn't a Black Lives Matter protest, if it was some other,
Mhm.
okay, what if it was the KKK? Because they love to march.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh
they
yeah.
love to march through your town, and then
Yep.
just the existence of them um is a threat, and
Yes.
to some of us, just their presence.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I'd like to know how that's gonna play out.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just
And then speaking of abortion, while we're talking about abortion clinics,
great segue.
you did a wonderful job preparing the notes this week. You made it all very easy.
Thank you.
This is one that I haven't really looked at much at all. The disability abortion bill. What's this one?
So this bill is basically going to prohibit women who are pregnant to get an abortion if they discover that their child might be, disabled,
Right.
and it's going to penalize them, or it's illegal. I think they might even
Yeah.
get jail time. I have not read the entire bill, but that is the gist of it. I do know there's something like this passed in Georgia in 2019.
God, ain't the South a great place?
Fuck yeah. I mean, and it's interesting to see what other states are doing, because if they do something fucked up, then chances are we're probably going to do it too.
Yeah. They either give us the idea or get it from us. One of the two. Yeah.
That's the truth. And but I think that something happened with that. I think someone sued or did something, and I think it was rolled back. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is a new one on my radar. But so yeah, if you're pregnant and you find out that your child is going to have an absolutely horrible life, if it lives at all, you will be prosecuted or charged or criminal if you get an abortion.
So this is CS for House Bill 1221. Disability means any disease, defect, or disorder that is genetically inherited, including but not limited to physical disability, mental or intellectual disability, physical disfigurement, Down syndrome, scoliosis, dwarfism, albinism, amelia, a physical or mental disease. The term does not include a lethal fetal anomaly. Disability abortion means an abortion in which the physician performing the termination of pregnancy knows or should know that the pregnant woman is seeking the termination of pregnancy solely on the basis of prenatal diagnosis, test, or screening. Physician may not perform or induce or attempt to perform or induce a disability abortion. A woman upon whom a disability abortion is performed may not be prosecuted under this section for a conspiracy to violate the provisions of this section. Subsection does not apply to a disability abortion that is necessary to save the life of a mother whose life is endangered by a physical disorder, illness, or injury, provided that no other medical procedure would suffice for that purpose. Penalties. Any person who willfully performs or actively participates in a termination of pregnancy in violation of the requirements of this section commits a felony of the 3rd degree, punishable as provided in sections 77582, so on and so forth. B, a person who performs or actively participates in a termination of pregnancy in violation of this section, or another section, which results in the death of the woman, commits a felony of the 2nd degree, punishable as provided. Felony.
Losing rights, right and left.
Felon, 2nd degree felony. Oh my God. So the abortion debate fascinates me. I was recently on a panel that I can't talk too much about. But abortion was sort of one of the topics of focus, and I like to tell this story to sort of frame like where I come from and you know what my experiences have been. Obvious to like everyone, I'm a trans person. I was living male identified for the first 4 years of my life. Until I transitioned. So when I was 17, I got my girlfriend pregnant. And her parents took her to St. Louis to have an abortion. And I was not involved in this decision. I was not like at all. I wasn't talked to. It wasn't discussed. It was just, this is a thing that happened. Like this is happening. So on one hand, I understand that sort of like, I'm the dude and it's half mine and I should have some say, and like it feels wrong to not be included in that process or decision or whatever. Like I have the experience of living through that, and I know what that feels like. And I was deeply Christian at the time. So, you know, we were keeping that baby and we were going to get married and raise it. Like that was how it was.
That's the mantra.
And that's not how it worked out. And what a blessing that turned out to be, because my life would be ridiculously different had that not happened. And I see that and I recognize that now. At the time I was heartbroken, you know. I did see that as a wanted baby. And so anyway, there's an experience there that I have to sort of draw from when I think about this stuff. And I've told this story before, but Tracy Harris and Jen Peoples completely flipped the script and changed the way I think about abortion. It was the two of them talking to a guest on the Atheist Experience about the topic. And, you know, the argument that basically came down to bodily autonomy. Like, consent to sex is not consent to pregnancy. Consent to pregnancy is not consent to remaining pregnant. And if you understand consent in the same way that I can consent to having sex and then revoke that consent in the middle of it, consent can be withdrawn.
Yeah.
And that's true of all of those things, including pregnancy. And it just like, ooh, opened up a hole in the universe. And like, I got it. Like it just, finally I got it. The supplementary argument that helped prop that was the idea that like, if my kid were to have some horrible blood disease or something, and the only way to save their life was to get transfusions, and I'm the only one that can give them the blood, I would do it. Right? Let's not be like, come on. We would all do it. It's our kid.
We would all do it. Yeah.
But the state can't compel me to do it. And that's the difference. Here, the state is compelling a pregnant person to remain pregnant.
And have a baby.
And yes.
And
then raise it. And the government's not going to help you. And nobody else is going to help you.
Exactly. You're going to need to pay for all of the medical care that you're going to need for the rest of that child's life. Yep. It's going to be a very difficult life. What is the quality of life of that child?
Yes. And so when we talk about this one, when we're talking about a child that is known to be, will be born with a disability, a genetic disability, this is where for me, like humanism is a weight of the most good with the least harm consideration, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to give life to a child that's going to just suffer its entire life. I wouldn't want that for my kid. Like, I wouldn't.
It's cruel.
Yeah.
It's cruel, and it is egotistical for someone to make you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just cruel.
So I know we talk about like, pro-life isn't really pro-life, it's pro-forced birth, because once the birth happens, then those same people are generally not happy.
Away.
Yeah, they're not happy having their taxes raised to help you raise that child that they forced into the world.
Exactly.
So that's a thing that bothers me. But there's another consideration that I find interesting about this, that is the people who live in the gray wiggle room of, abortion is banned except, well, if the life of the mother is at stake, well then that would be all right. Or
how kind. Yeah.
Or, yeah. Or, right. All those little carve outs of like, okay, well, but for the life of the mother, or in the case of incest or rape, well then that's okay. Because to me, that signals a disingenuous position in their argument, which is, if you believe this is a life that is, that should be valued like, it's either, to me, it's either it is or it isn't. It's either all or none, and
the time, no matter, regardless of the circumstance.
Yes,
it should be all the time.
Yep.
Whether the mother's life is in danger or not.
Exactly. So I think that position is disgusting and abhorrent, but also like they seem to be the most I don't know, honest about their position. The people that are like, well, if it's rape or incest, sorry, you're still having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
If the mother dies, meh, the baby's more important. Like, that position to me seems more honest than the ones who are excluding.
Right. Sure.
Right.
It's consistent. But then the whole thing is, why the hell is anybody telling a woman what they can do in the first fucking place?
Mm-hmm.
To their body. And that is really the issue here.
Right.
Is the fact that we're even having this conversation.
Again, you can't compel me to donate a kidney to someone else.
Right.
You can't compel me to use my body. I have to give consent to that. Yeah.
It's your choice.
Yeah. I don't know. We're changing the world. Sure we are. Little bits at a time. Yeah, I had this conversation in a task force group that I'm in, where I just sometimes I feel like, you know what? Let me just pick a state that has legal weed. Maybe some beautiful mountains that I can go build a log cabin up on and just like sit out on my porch and get high. Like there's a big part of me that's like, find me the paradise world where people actually like agree with my value set. And like, goodbye, Florida. And then there's the part of me that's keeping me here is the part that's like, fuck no, damn it, my values are good and moral and right and just and blah, blah, blah. And so no, I'm going to stay here and fight for what I think is right and try to change this backwards place for the better. Because somebody's got to.
Yeah, I have that conversation daily. I'm like, I'm gonna leave, right? and go to Colorado or something.
Yeah.
And with the mountains.
Yeah.
And the other stuff too.
Right. Yeah. But, or Oregon, Washington, Vermont. Like, I'm flexible.
Yeah, me too. But it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, are we fighting a losing battle? And the other side feels like their values and their morals are just as good as ours are.
Right.
So how do we bridge that gap? I mean, what do we do?
This is the conversation I have in my head like most days of like, there is a bridge builder in me that is the one who says, we shouldn't silo ourselves off from religious people and just, all Christians are bad. Like, we can't do that because not all Christians are bad. And like many of them are on the right side of a lot of these arguments. This abortion panel thing that I was a part of, there's a lot of support from certain religious communities for the bodily autonomy argument. We need them to be more vocal and, raise hell in the Capitol or whatever, but we need there's the bridge builder in me is like, we need those people. We need to the queer groups and the atheist groups and the progressive religious groups, like, we need to come together and build coalitions. And like, we're the ones that are when you poll Americans, even when you poll Floridians, the majority of people are in agreement with all of these things. And yet we're legislating the opposite of that, And
it's probably going to pass.
Yeah, right.
That's the sad thing, is it's probably going to pass.
So there's a part of me that's, that's like, that really, believes in that like we need to find people who are different than us, who are, we're not just in like-minded silos. They
need to be exposed to us,
right? And we to them,
and we to them.
Be honest,
yeah. Because I don't think all Christians. I have lots of friends.
Yeah,
I love them. But they agree that they don't push their agenda on other people, and that is what I admire most about them.
Right. I was going somewhere with that, and now I don't remember where it was.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
I was driving the truck, and then I don't know what happened. But the idea that like, so on one hand, we either like figure out how to bring people together, and then the other side of that argument in my brain is like, let's revisit this north-south thing again for just a little bit. Because I'm thinking maybe...
I thought about that too the other day.
Just give them their own damn country, and like, they can build a wall between us if they want, and we'll go over here and have like universal health care and legal weed and
all of the
all of the things,
and all of the left-leaning people, the progressives, will go on one side.
We'll pay our taxes to fund programs that actually take care of people so that the quality of life is better and our health and happiness is better. And we'll go do all of that, and y'all can go over here and do whatever it is you think a good society is, and you can just have it. You can have it.
And then they'll religion, and you can have your laws based on religion. And I swear what you'll end up with is Handmaid's Tale on one side, and we're on the other side. Yeah, legal weed, and just free healthcare.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Like,
there's a part. Yeah, I'm torn. I really am. I'm torn. I feel
the fighting and all of that. It's like, yes, we're trying to work together, but at some point, can we really work can we? I mean, I want to believe we can, but can
I
we?
do too.
Yeah,
I do too. I feel like I feel like what we have to get through, maybe what I like the hurdle that I need to get over in order to be supportive of the like, let's all, figure out a way to live on this world together, position is I want shit and I want it now. And I don't know if this is like generational, like we're just here and everything is an instant gratification thing. But I'm like I said earlier, it's 2021 and I can't get on my computer at my house to talk to my representative in Tallahassee. Are you kidding me? It's 2021 for crying out loud. And so I feel that way about a lot of progressive social things where I'm like, Jesus Christ, why aren't we there yet? And it's because we have, there is the division of people in the country of there's a rustle in the bush and half of us think it's, probably just the wind and we should go get those berries. And half of us think, holy shit, that might be a panther. Like that's, there's two people.
Two very, very distinct people.
Very different.
I don't know. I worry.
Yeah.
Like if we don't maybe, I know segregation is bad, but
yes,
if it's voluntary segregation, literally between two completely opposite ideas.
Right. Yeah. If it's a cultural split, right? Like we're the U.S. and Canada for reasons, right? We could combine and be the United Canadians of North America or whatever.
Something.
And we could, like, okay, maybe that's a thing.
Republic of America. Something, it's not a wacky idea to just split this country down the middle and decide which side you want to be on.
Like,
and then different government, and then everybody do their own thing, and everybody will be happy.
Right. Here's your half. Here's our half. Like, do we have to pay?
We can't get along anymore. Because what did your parents do when you argued with you? They separated you when you had sisters and brothers, and you just could not get along. Separated them.
Maybe this is maybe this is my worry. Like, what happened before they separated? They had a big fucking fight.
Yeah.
Right. In a lot of cases, they had a big ass fight. Well, so did we. Literally over this very thing. Like, are we going to be half of you go this way and half of us go this way? We literally fought a war. And so I think maybe my concern is, I think maybe maybe we should reconsider this North-South thing is a way to, like, can we divorce peacefully, or do we really have to go to court and battle this out again? Like,
right.
I don't want another civil war. That'd be some ugly shit.
A civil war in this day and age is going to look a lot different than it looked back then.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want a war either. I just would like to come to something peacefully and say, if we can't get along, let's agree to disagree and go our separate ways.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And then, because the question is, like, how can we coexist on this planet peacefully? But also, see, I'm not one of these people that, like, the city limits lines don't really mean much to me. Like, oh, it's a state. Yeah, some dude drew some lines on a map. Like, big fucking deal. And it's our country. Yeah, look, we would be so better off if call me the globalist, whatever cabal, but like, I feel like we would be so better off if we thought globally. And that goes back to the conversation we had about environmentality and like all of that stuff.
Yep, we definitely don't think globally. Each country.
No, this is my rock, and I'm the best, and you,
And let's face it, we can't separate because there are people in the north or whatever section that feel there are people all over that feel. Yeah,
we would be forced relocating people. Like,
and they're not going to want to move. So
listen, go on the record. I'll go back north if I have to.
I've never lived up north, but I'll go.
The winters suck. We can go east-west too. Like I'm cool with Mississippi River or whatever. Like however you want to draw the lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, legal weed. I'm there.
Right. Well, you know what we would fight over? This is the dumbest shit. We would just fight over resources. It would literally be over like, oh, you guys are getting all the, land with all the coal or whatever, some dumb, natural resource that we're depleting. Yeah, you're getting all the oil. That's what we would argue over.
That's okay because the sun is everywhere. We'd be solar.
Oh, yeah. Why are we the Sunshine State and not the leader in solar? Oh, my God. Somebody elect me. Will you?
I know, right?
I'm declaring my candidacy. Yeah, right.
Sarah for governor. I mean, you could do it.
You say that, but I don't know. I've got a lot of material out there for people to listen back through.
Yeah. They will dig. They will dig through your life.
Well, and I say that, but then I think about like some of the people that we have elected. So maybe I got a shot.
Geetz, maybe.
Oh, Gaetz. Yes.
Gaetz.
Let's end on GaetzGate. Well, no, maybe, let's end on GaetzGate. So this guy he's one of these guys that like literally got elected to just go be a clown. Like his job is to literally just go be a clown.
It's like his pickup line. Hey, I'm a politician.
Yeah.
His
daddy was somebody though, right? His daddy was a congressperson or something. I don't know. But yeah, this guy he's just nasty. And an idiot. He's the one that was running around in a gas mask. God, what was that?
We should just do a segment on just GaetzGate.
Yeah.
Of, like all the dumb shit he's done.
Yeah, exactly. This was during a vote on the coronavirus response package. He wore a like legit gas mask.
I remember that
on the floor of the House when they were debating this coronavirus package. Because we were all like, that was when it was like, hey, everybody wear a mask. Like, let's be safe and take care of each other. And half the state was like, fuck you, I'm not wearing a mask. I shouldn't do that. I always do a voice when I'm gonna do like the village idiot character, and I shouldn't do that. It's not right. Or I should do a voice that's maybe not as regional.
It's kind of accurate, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when I do redneck voice for that, I feel like I hear Trey Crowder in my ear, like.
And I like him.
Like, hey, y'all, not all of us are like that. You're right. Okay, you're right. Yeah. Oh, let's get him on the show. That'd be fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So, anyway, this guy, he's under congressional investigation now.
He's going down. I don't know how he can claw his way out of this one.
It's a House. Oh, Jesus, I can't even talk. It's a House Ethics Committee that's launched an investigation into Gaetz, and it's for a lot more than sex trafficking, from one of my favorite sources, FloridaPolitics.com. House Ethics Committee has launched an investigation into Matt Gaetz, citing allegations of sexual misconduct and a host of other concerns, including illicit drug use and bribery. The committee's announcement refers to far more allegations than have come to light through media reporting in the past 2 weeks, since the New York Times first reported that the U.S. Department of Justice was investigating Gaetz for possible sex trafficking associated with his indicted friend Joel Greenberg. The statement released by the committee Friday afternoon also mentions possible misuse of illicit drugs, state identification records, campaign funds, and bribery, among others. Quote, the committee is aware of public allegations that Representative Matt Gaetz may have engaged in sexual misconduct and or illicit drug use, shared inappropriate images or videos on the House floor. Pin in that.
I did read something about that. He was like sharing, like an adolescent was sharing just videos and naked pictures.
Right, like, hey, dude, check her out.
Yeah, like that is
Yeah.
so high school.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is a grown man.
There was something that just like in the past few weeks. This happened in Australia too, on the floor of their parliament, whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. That people over there were busted for like hooking up in the prayer room, which I think is pretty awesome. I'll have to pull that story and talk about it another time. And then showing like explicit images to each other on the floor. Misused state identification records, converted campaign funds for personal use, and or accepted a bribe, improper gratuity, or impermissible gift in violation of House rules, laws, or other standards of conduct, the statement declares. Greenberg faces many of those charges through indictments handed down against him in the U.S. District Court in Orlando. On Thursday, his attorney and federal prosecutors said they were working on a plea deal, and Greenberg's attorney made it clear it could involve Gaetz. I'm sure Matt Gaetz is not feeling very comfortable today, Fritz Scheller said after a court hearing. Gaetz has repeatedly and vehemently denied any wrongdoing. However, much of his defense has been against media reports of federal investigations that have not been confirmed in any detail by federal investigators. He hired two prominent New York lawyers, McCasey and Kirshner, Mark McCasey and Isabel Kirshner, to defend him. Now he has a second front on which to defend himself, one that has gone public with a long list of allegations, and he has a second area of jurisprudence to defend under House rules. And some of the concerns raised by the ethics, let me just say Florida politics, starting a paragraph and sentence with the word and. Thank you for validating me. And some of the concerns raised by the Ethics Committee are not necessarily criminal and not necessarily issues that Gaetz has denied. They allude to reports that Gaetz has shared nude pictures of sexual conquests with other members and staff to look at in the halls of Congress. What an upstanding, fine young American man this is.
He's so great. I mean, oh my God, he's awesome.
Those stories have been reported in some news media, but the committee likely will have authority to direct sources, members, and staff in Congress. The committee statement said it would make no other public comment on the matter until a determination is made. Statement released jointly by Deutsch and Republican U.S. Representative Jackie Walorski of Indiana, committee's ranking member. Republican Representative John Rutherford of Jacksonville is also a member. And there was also a story I saw today that the first Republican representative came out calling for his resignation. Yeah.
Yay! Somebody has backbone. I mean, I don't care if he's had sex with people.
Nope. As long as it's legal, consensual.
Consensual, over 18, whatever. But he's using like our taxpayer money to basically party and pick up chicks or whatever, and he's just he's not doing his job either.
Right.
And he's just sleazy.
Yeah.
Just sleazy.
Yeah. Yep, I get the heebie-jeebies when I think about this guy.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to take him seriously because he's just a clown. Like that whole like wear a gas mask thing. Like he's just an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, that's the news of the week.
Depressing enough for you?
Yeah, right?
Gosh.
See, winging it isn't so bad, right?
No, I think we did all right.
I want to ask you what you have coming up, but I also want to remind everybody that Secular Week of Action is a thing and is coming that you should be gearing up for, and that's at the end of the month. So we can talk about that a little bit. I need to write it's only a month away. I need to write my invocation for the Polk County Board of County Commissioners, which is a thing that I do for the National Day of Prayer every year.
Nice. We're just FBBs. We're just gearing up for Secular Week of Action. We're going to resume our fireside chats, I think, at the end of the month. And our BBN teams are working hard, helping people who need food and water. And then we're also, so FBB has a compassionate impact grant that we give every year to an organization that kind of aligns with one of our at least one of our tenants is, which is, providing food and water, and promoting economic growth and just, basically providing the necessities that a person needs. And so we've chosen the organization that we're going to award this compassionate impact grant to. Can't tell you right now, but it will be. We'll let you know fairly soon.
I thought we were gonna get the scoop, man.
No, I can't do that. But yeah, so it's we partner. We like to partner with this organization, and this grant is basically spanned. We award this grant over the course of 3 years. To promote basically sustainability and just help them make an impact as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
I'll tell you a story. Like, so the end of this story is like, go donate to Foundation Beyond Belief, help support the work that they do and the work that Foundation Beyond Belief helps other groups do. Like, that's really what it is. It's get everybody together and herd the cats and provide them support. Is that so? Like, as many, if you've been watching for any length of time, we launched this food pantry in the wake of COVID-19. And so we're sort of at a moment now where we're having conversations about like, well, this was meant to be a temporary response thing. Is that still how we feel about it? And if so, what does the end look like? Like, how do you say, okay, the pandemic's over? Like, what's the metric by which you measure that? And then, are we setting a date and then we disband? What does that look like? Okay, well, maybe not, because the problem of food insecurity broadly, but especially in this county, it was there long before COVID-19 came along.
COVID-19 exposed it.
COVID-19, it made it a shit ton worse, but it also it brought us to it. I had no idea. I had no idea that this was such a huge problem here. So there's that, and we know that when COVID-19 is over, some people will get back to work and whatever, but that problem is not going to just magically solve and go away. So Absolutely. It was there before COVID. It worsened during COVID. It will be there after COVID. How do we then look at, is this something that we're going to try to make sustainable, right? And we expanded. This is all like behind the scenes shit, but you're welcome to take it. We recently expanded to. Originally, we were a mobile food pantry with Feeding America, and they would bring us a truck delivery once a month. And from that, we would break it down into boxes and take it out to deliver to people.
Cool.
And when we had surplus, we would run a drive-through food pantry for people who could get to us. But the mission has always been about there are people who just cannot get to a food bank. How do we help them? Right. So, we recently scaled up to a quote unquote full-time food pantry. And that included going, 30 minutes to a Walmart with a truck that we do not own, thanks to our volunteers, to pick up food from Walmart 3 times a week. So now you've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever. We're going to Walmart to pick up food. Thursdays, you have a truck that comes and delivers to us. Thursday and or Saturday, we're out driving the food on the routes and delivering it to the people who need it. Nice. That's a 5-day-a-week operation. That's a business. This isn't a little hobby thing anymore.
And you can't turn it off. You can't just turn it off when COVID goes away.
Well,
either,
we had to back it down, and I'll tell you, that was a really hard decision for us. We had to go down to one Walmart pickup a week
Mhm.
and a truck every other week, and we're going to deliver every other week, and each box will be a little bit bigger than it would be weekly. For all of the reasons that you've probably talked about in every staff meeting you ever have, like volunteer burnout, and a lot of the volunteers that were helping us got their jobs back and were
Yeah.
the furlough went away or whatever, and so like they're just not available anymore, and so we didn't have the people that we needed to sustain it at that level. We also don't have any money, so like we can't hire somebody to do it. And if we're going to get into the business of like running a 5-day-a-week massive operation like we sort of dipped our toe into, you got to have money. You got to staff that. You got to have we're using the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lakeland graciously gave us their community room. But when COVID's over, they're going to want that back. And we've got fridges and freezers and boxes and tables and stacks, all kind of everything in there. Like they literally were just like, well, nobody's using it because of COVID, so we can gladly. And the church members are thrilled to be a part of this thing. Like everybody's on board, but eventually they're going to need that space back. Now we're looking at, okay, well, now we're going to have to pay for a space somewhere probably. And what does that look like? So yeah, when you think about the need, what it takes to like really go in and make an impact on a place, on a group of people, it's freaking huge. And yes, there are grants. However, one of them we were recently looking at, that one of our team was, sourcing for, is like 60 some pages of writing and graphs and charts and like a big production, and would normally an organization would put 10 people in a room for a month writing this grant.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what else we ain't got? 10 people in a room for a month.
Grant writing, yeah.
We ain't got anybody to write grants either. Holy cow. So it's, there's like a barrier to being able to do that. And all of that is just to say, like, that's what I like about this sort of new and improved compassionate impact grants. That it's, it is looking at a long-term sustainability of how can we take a program that is doing well and has potential, but needs to, like, how can we keep it going? How can we keep it so that it doesn't crumble? And I freaking think that's awesome.
Yep. And we currently support about 145 BBN teams like yours across the country, and we want to be able to support more.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah.
FoundationBeyondBelief.org.
FoundationBeyondBelief.org.
Yes.
To check out our webpage and donate if you are inclined to do so, or whatever you can give.
They're doing the Lord's work. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say thank you to your group and groups like yours for all of the work that you just described and what it takes behind the scenes to get something like this running. And it takes money, but it takes people.
Yep. It's funny because I always tell people, like, just do it. Just do the thing. You got an idea, just go. Just run with it. But that's how I am.
It starts with that. But it starts with that, and then you find out all the roadblocks you're gonna run into. And then you just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you make those connections with groups like Foundation Beyond Belief and all of the other like national organizations that are super supportive with all of the things that we're out there trying to do. There's definitely a support system in place, and just go do the things.
You heard it from Sarah. Go do the things.
Go do the things. Well, so we didn't even recap AACon. We didn't even talk about American Atheist Convention.
That was really great.
What a hoot.
Convention.
That was so fun.
A blast. I learned so much, and just the wonderful people that were part of the convention, and it's all good stuff.
Right.
It was so good.
I don't know. Maybe I think we said this last time that like I'd never been to any of the big like national atheist conventions.
I'm not either.
Haven't ever been. Yeah, we talked about this last week, sort of. And so given that perspective, and with it being all virtual and online or whatever, I thought the platform was fantastic. I thought they picked a really good platform to host this thing on.
I agree. I felt like I was with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like even though it was virtual, I felt like I was with everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the Reason Rally like 2016. That was like the only big conference. Wasn't even a conference, but that was the only big event. And I mean, I felt like we were connected. It didn't feel virtual at all.
Right. Right. Like there were some of the standard, like, okay, everybody tune in and we're going to listen to a speaker talk. Mm-hmm. But then there were the breakout rooms, which were just so much fun. The affinity groups, I popped into the LGBT one for a little bit. And then I went into, there was a trans and non-binary specific one, and I got to hang out with Callie Wright, and I love Callie, and we like run in the same circles all the time. Mm-hmm. We're in like all the same groups and shit, but we never have ever gotten to like hang out and just bullshit and chat.
Right.
So we finally got to do that. That was a load of fun.
And do you know how hard it is to do that at an actual conference? Like trying to find someone across the room.
Yeah.
And not gonna. I mean, it's impossible. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
And then we had our fun Florida man.
That was great. Everyone was in that room.
What a hoot! Yeah, I think we probably had the hoppinest room in the whole place.
For sure.
That was
because
great.
Florida. I mean, come on.
I guess I don't know.
We're unique.
The people, the people make it happen. So that was a lot of fun. You missed it. Sorry. Come to the next one. The next one's going to be in Hot Atlanta. We're going to be in Atlanta next year, and that's great because it's not bad far of a drive for us, Floridian people. When it was like the last one was going to be in Phoenix, and we were just like, we want to go. Like our group is an American Atheist affiliate. Becca is a state director. Like we want to go, but it's in Phoenix, for crying out loud. Like I have kids. I can't just, and Easter weekend, like I can't just pick up and leave in the middle. School is still going on. Like it's not even like I can sneak them a summer vacation or whatever. Like, what do I do? So this was great to be able to like really be part of it and not have to travel. Like there's a benefit to that too. And I think a lot of organizers are considering now, yes, we want to get everybody together at the same place. However, there is a benefit to being able to allow people to do this virtual thing, and how do we make both of them like how do we do a little bit of both so that people will still come because we want you to come. That's part of it, but also that if you can't, because it's cost prohibitive for a lot of people and the time and travel and all of that stuff, how can we make it so that people in those positions are still can still be part of it? And
COVID has definitely changed
how we've all thought about everything.
So many things, and
yes,
and we're gonna probably take some of these things and adopt them moving forward. But.
Anything else going on in your world? Anything else exciting or fun?
Nothing exciting or fun.
I feel
Maybe
like
next time.
I feel like I should have something going on. But I spent all week painting and I don't pay attention. Next week, Saturday, tomorrow is the Great American Cleanup. Find an event near you, or come to ours if you're in the area. That's it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Cool. So, let's go ahead and wrap up the show then. And next week, who's on next week? Next week is you. It's you again.
It's me again, yeah.
Awesome. Oh, so let's do a deep dive on the Gaetz drama. We'll do a deep dive on all the dumb shit Matt Gaetz has ever done.
That's a week of research, which I'll probably hate what I'm finding. But yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, then just come back here for Allie and me again, and we'll have another. Maybe we'll wing part of it. Maybe we'll plan part of it. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll do something positive.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that sounds great. All right, well, that's it for this week. Freethought in Florida is available on YouTube, Facebook, and all your popular podcast players. You can find all the subscribe links at fif.show, which is our fun new website. If you haven't checked that out, go give it a look. And send us an email at info@fif.show. We'd love to hear from you, and I'm going to read your emails and stuff on the air. Please like, subscribe, share out the episodes, and help us reach a broader audience. And of course, remember the three most important things: wash your hands, wear your mask, and be kind to each other. Everybody be safe, and we'll see you next week on Freethought in Florida. It does this thing where it freezes right at the end every time. I don't understand that.